Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order with flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Counselor Eater,
Here.
Counselor Wall is absent tonight. Counselor Astorga,
Here.
Counselor Donahue, here. Counselor Ott,
Here.
Counselor Hofer, here. Counselor Vasquez, here. Mayor Fleck.
Here. Thank you. Next is one we've been waiting for, swearing in Julio Rivero. Welcome to Mount Angel.
Well, Council, let me introduce Julio Navarro. He is our newest officer. He actually came to us a week ago today. And as I was discussing with the mayor, we were able to, I'm gonna call this a little bit of bragging rights, but you know, he was in background over with the Polk County Sheriff's Office. We knew where his real true heart was. So he continued over to the city of Mount Angel, and we were lucky enough to get a hold of him. Julio has some prior police experience with the city of Independence, and we're really looking forward to him finishing his training. We just learned today that he will likely be attending the police academy, not for the full thing, because he already attended, actually working for the city of Independence for 10 weeks. His class came down with COVID, so they sent him home, and one thing led to another. He finds himself with our agency, and so I've been working very closely with the academy, and they're going to, looks like, put him into an existing class right now. And luckily enough, it's only 2 classes after the one he started in. So he's going to be able to start it back at the academy, looks like on Monday of next week. So he's got great experience. He's got a bachelor's degree from Western Oregon University, and we're just really excited about having him here. So Julio, without any further ado, why don't you come forward and we'll get you sworn in. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Julio Cesar Navarro,
I, Julio Cesar Navarro,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon
and the laws therefore
and the law therefore
and rules and regulations
and rules and regulations
of the Mount Angel Police Department.
of the Mount Angel Police Department.
And I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
during my continuance therein,
during my continuance therein,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. And then I'm going to have Officer Navarro sign this. Real quick.
Who gets to put the badge on?
His lovely wife.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Julio, would you like to introduce your family and then you can ask your wife to go up and back on?
Of course, that's my wife, Jasmine Navarro. We've been married for over 19 years, and we actually met when she was 12, I was 14. So we've been together for a long time. And that's my son, 6 years old, Julian Navarro.
Well, welcome. Come on over. Julio, why don't you stand right here? And then Sam, I think it's probably going to go over and take some pictures. Now here's that.
I want to hear a good loud scream because you stick in one.
Like the army?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, nice. And so you don't have to stick to the whole. Thank you, council.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next item. Christmas card under correspondence that you got, I think it's in the packet, from the city of Woodburn. Thank you, us, for working with them. And tourism collaborative. Nice of them. And then interested citizens.
Yeah, tonight I did receive a request to speak from a Teresa Pugh. She turned in the testimony form earlier today. So Teresa, if you're on, we can speak.
Hi, hold on one second. Hi,
Hello.
good evening. So some of you know me. If you don't know me, my name is Teresa Pugh. And I've been in communication with the council in regards to the Wachter Meadows and the drainage issue we're having there. And I guess first off, I want to thank Mayor Fleck for getting back to me on this issue and providing us with some more information on the matter. So that's good. We've been taking a look at that here tonight, and we haven't seen anything like that yet. So it's good to have some of that information. And then, yeah, so I guess why I'm here still is we're still looking for a date of completion, to be honest. Some sort of timeline that we can look forward to. We're trying to plant that field, and we actually have, stuff ready to go soon. So I guess, yeah, I'm just wondering if there will be a timeline available soon, or kind of what that looks like as far as when, like I said, we have stuff that can go in there now, and we can't plant a flooded field. So yeah, just a little more hard line when that might be done, or when we might have a timeline.
Ellen, here's your first council meeting. In charge of the public works, you get to answer that question.
Yeah, well, we are aware of the problem. It's being worked on, but there is no time frame at this moment. I've talked to Saunders Company, and they're aware of it, and they came up with the design to put a catch basin in right there at the property line that will drain the water out and into the draining into the system. That's all I got right now.
Can we ask them?
What's that?
Can we ask them if they'll give us a timeline?
Yes, absolutely.
That's what we'll do, Teresa.
That would be great. Again, any communication is great and appreciated. And we haven't been in charge of planting that field in many years, but my husband and I will be doing that now. So we're trying to get that done. And any information is good information, and we appreciate the communication for sure.
Okay,
Thank you all for your time tonight.
thank you. Okay. Anybody else, Colby?
Nobody that let me know. I don't know if anybody's on who wants to speak. But
Next item on the agenda, 7 department reports. Anyone has any questions? Pretty straightforward. And Chief, those notes at the end, that was good. Anything? Hearing nothing, unless I get interrupted, we'll move on to review of accounts payable. Any questions or comments on accounts payable? He's not here. I was gonna bring up the ethics commission payment. But I was just gonna rattle this cage a little bit.
Let me in the record, so.
Anyone have anything? Okay. We'll move on. Okay, consent agenda. Council meeting minutes, December the 6th. And before we have a motion from the floor, a couple things that I circled in here. We talked about doing some things last month, and I'm not sure how we're gonna get these done, if it's gonna take some staff time or whatever, but inviting the infrastructure task force, Pete talked about reconvening the budget committee, and that was about the money that we're getting from the federal government. Councilor Storga talked about polling with social media. And anyway, a few items there that.
So Mayor, if you'd like, I could probably put Tara on the spot. She can talk about the polling and perhaps, you know, the messaging out to the infrastructure task force and that if you'd like. If Tara, are you prepared to talk about that just a little bit?
Sure. I released the poll link on the utility bills that went out the end of December. I did a Facebook, released it on Facebook to come out while we were on vacation on January 1st. I put the Facebook poll on the link on our city website today. And I believe it should come out or already came out on Instagram as well. We have to date 52 responses that we can compile with. I expect a lot more the more we promote it. And then, yes, I had reached out to Mark today to ask if he wanted to initiate the meetings or if he wanted me to initiate the meetings, but I would like to have them if both those committees meet in early February. So we need to start looking at dates.
That sounds good to me.
And my response to Tara, unfortunately, she was gone for the back half of the day, was, yes, I would like for her to go ahead and continue with this and to move forward with pushing out the information and certainly overseeing those meetings.
Thank you. Reading my mind. Tara, appreciate getting that information and putting those surveys out. Thank you.
Yeah, please spread the word.
That worked good.
Thank you, Tara.
If there's no other comments, looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Yeah,
Second.
now the motion by Counselor Donahue and a second by Counselor Eager. Colby?
Counselor Vasquez,
Aye.
Counselor Hooper. Aye. Counselor Eager,
Aye.
Counselor Ball is absent. Counselor Astorga.
Aye.
Donahue.
Aye.
Counselor Hott.
Aye.
And Mayor Collette.
Aye. Thank you. Item 10, unfinished business, A, public right of way management ordinance 771. Discussion item.
So, Mr. Mayor, this comes before you again. Basically, this will be the second month that council have the information, but to bring to staff any questions or concerns, anything that we should be addressing that you see here that we haven't. But basically to prepare any questions and comments that you might have regarding the creation of this franchise agreement or ordinance between the city of Mount Angel and Comcast, so that we can move forward. So I'm prepared to take notes.
Okay. I don't have anything because I haven't really had a good chance to read it. I'm slow.
I have a question. For any unlocated utilities that they could possibly hit when they're boring or drilling or digging, who's going to be responsible, the city or them?
Do you know what the agreement says, or does it?
I don't know currently, but we will find out.
Okay,
That's what I'm here to do, is get good information, get questions, and we'll get back.
okay.
I would bet it's gonna fall on them. I think we've got this conversation before.
The only reason why I ask is because I've been on the other end of it, where I've worked for municipalities where if we didn't mark it and they hit it, it's our responsibility. So we better get that in writing and make sure that we know who's responsible for what.
Okay. Other questions? Thank you. Tony?
Is this agreement pretty much the same as with the other cable provider? So,
I believe it's probably very similar, but Colby and I will likely have another conversation with our city attorney just to cover that fact.
Can I point something out real quickly too? This is the ordinance portion of the franchise agreement is actually a separate portion. So this ordinance is like a blanket ordinance. It'll cover any franchise agreements in the future when they renew or bring new ones into the city. But we'll still have to perform an individual franchise agreement with Comcast.
So the ordinance, as is, if we would accept this tonight, would Comcast have to accept this, or it's just in place and then you're going to negotiate the franchise?
That's correct. Comcast would have to accept the ordinance, but there could be terms negotiated in the franchise agreement.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
So will this go to the other franchise folks now, or once we get it done, or will it go as we renew?
Honestly, I would have to ask the attorney about that question. I would have to get a solid answer from him for you.
Because, and I think even if the attorney says, you know, we gotta wait for whatever reason, once it's in place, I would rather show it to them and, you know, not blindside them when it comes to them negotiating, you know.
No, that seems fair.
Are there any additional fees or any money items in here that we're gonna think about adding to? You know, in addition to what we're doing now?
So in section 4, under regulatory fees, compensation, not a tax, it talks about the fees. I'm not sure specifically, because this is a new ordinance, I'm sure we will have to bring something in front of council to add to the fee schedule.
I think it would be important, again, as this thing gets closer to finality, just to compare our fee schedule, if there are parts and pieces of it in here, to make sure that they match up. So we either have to, you know, change one or the other.
I found it in my notes. I'm sorry. Section 49 says damage to utility providers' facilities. It says that they will cover under statutory constitutional tort claim limits. Without exception, the city shall not be liable for any damage or injury to loss of any facility. So it looks to be like we are covered there under section 49.
Thanks for finding that, Tony.
I buried it in my notes, and I'm sorry about that.
In section 42, I think it talks about transfer of franchise, page 17 of 24. That's a good provision, because you could have some company come in, negotiate, get the agreement and pass it off to somebody that probably wouldn't have the qualifications. Question on section 23, Chief, packet page 52, trimming of trees, other vegetation. I'm thinking that we have some sort of a ordinance on older trees, you know, don't cut them down, get permission kind of thing. If that's the case, should it be listed in here?
Likely.
And I may be wrong, but I think it's something we should look into.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anything else? Anybody have? I think we threw quite a bit at you, Chief, and hoping that that'll help some.
Yeah,
And I'll continue to dig through this thing too and hopefully help.
I'm not sure we'll be able to get these answers to you very quickly, but we'll get through it the best we can and try to have it prepared, certainly no later than council back for the next meeting.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
So
Okay, are we ready to move on, Chief?
I am, if you are, man.
Okay, 10B surplus property update, burger time proposal.
Sure. In fact, today, I was in contact with Liz Ipot from Burger Time. She and I have a meeting scheduled this Wednesday. She's going to come in and give me / the city a proposal for purchase for that property. My question to council will be, once I receive that, would council like to have a special executive session meeting sometime mid-month prior to the next council meeting, or would you just like to have an executive session prior to the council meeting in February so that we can discuss any potential real estate transactions and then take appropriate action at the council meeting should we choose to take some?
I would prefer that it's in February. Is it possible to get the document so we can review it
Yeah, we'll have to,
confidentially? Because, obviously we can't.
yeah, I'll have to, obviously, my first go-to would be to just check with the city attorney, make sure that I can get those documents out to council outside of the executive session so that you can see them prior to our meeting. So I'll follow up on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, it's moving. Okay. 10C, library community conversation raw data. Last month, if you remember, Jackie did a presentation and we asked for this raw data to take a look at it and see how our community feels about the questions that she asked in there. And I guess my comment would be, do you have any questions or comments about that? Thank you, Jackie, for that.
You're welcome. I do want to point out though that I know I said this, but the teen responses I wrote as is. So I didn't make any corrections. So any errors are not mine, okay?
Okay. If there are no comments, then again, thanks for that, Jackie. We'll go ahead and move on. Item 11, new business. Coronavirus state fiscal recovery funding grant agreement, and it's a discussion item.
So, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Absolutely.
So as council, I'm sure will recall, Representative Rick Lewis from Silverton in our last legislative session was able to earmark, if you will, $500,000 to the city of Mount Angel for potential use on a public works project with the West Markham sanitary sewer trunk line project. Nothing comes without requirements and that type of thing. So it's just not free money. They just weren't throwing off the capital steps. So I had to actually submit documents to the state requesting those funds and explaining our project timelines and the deliverables. They were satisfied with that, and we actually were given the head nod, and so we are receiving $500,000 of the ARPA funds for our West Markham sanitary sewer trunk line project. What you see before you is the contract, if you will, the grant agreement between the city of Mount Angel and the state of Oregon. There's a number of requirements there, but what I would like to ask for a head nod from council to allow me to enter into this agreement so that we can receive our $500,000 for this project.
I don't think there's any question from council. If there is, please say something now. I guess one question I would have is there, other than buying him a cup of coffee, which I did, is there anything we can do legally to thank him for this?
I think we'll probably need to figure that out. You know, he's under the same ethics laws and rules that we all are. But I'm sure that if there's a way for us to invite Representative Lewis to a future council meeting and to recognize him publicly and to provide some, you know, heartfelt thanks, I think that would go a long way with him.
Because he could have given that money to a lot of worthy causes. And it was nice.
But when are these funds available?
Immediately.
Immediately?
Yeah, so we will be using these funds on that project, and that project is estimated to cost at this point, probably about $950,000. And of course, I was going to save this for later, and I may have mentioned it last month during council, but there was an opportunity that the mayor and I were aware of for us to submit another grant request. And so I submitted a grant request for another $450,000 to cover the other half, if you will, of that sewer trunk line project. So if successful there, it would be great to have that entire project covered by grant funds. And then we can use the funds that we've got saved right now in our city budget for another piece or two of that sanitary sewer trunk line. So I think we're in a really good spot.
Yeah, this is great news.
Well, I will sign the agreement sometime this week and we'll get it back to them.
Sounds good. And I have all the questions that you just answered. I have written down there. You already took care of them. You're reading my mind again, you and Tara. Anything else on that grant money going toward the sewer project? Next is the Oktoberfest agreement.
So council, what you have in front of you is, in your packet is a brand new draft of the Oktoberfest agreement. I will try and thumb through this as quickly as possible and let you know. There really weren't any significant changes to our agreement, but I will just kind of let you know that under term number 2, we of course extended this agreement out 2022, 2023, and 2024. So for another 3 years. Under city special event services, number C, we just cleaned up the number of locations where the city will provide water. It said 18 in the agreement, but it's actually 12 locations and not 18. Then the next change is under insurance. And we did submit this to our insurance company prior to bringing it to council. The insurance company asked us to increase our insurance liability rider to $3 million. So asking Oktoberfest to get the insurance up to $3 million. per occurrence for bodily injury, death, personal property, or real property damage in connection with the special event. And this Oktoberfest will be providing us with that certificate of insurance annually prior to the event. Under number 10, grant application, the city is encouraged and expected to apply for grants for projects, so they would very much like us annually to put in 4 grants for us to use for infrastructure or a variety of other projects that we might have for improvements for the city. And then under number 11, Oktoberfest would like to increase the amount that they are giving us every year for capital project contributions.
Congratulations.
Thanks, sir. Wanted to increase that from $2,000 to $3,000. Counselor, did you have a question or were you just waiting?
I was waiting.
And then we did some other changes as far as on the attachment A. We deleted the section B, which dealt with the kickoff party. And then we changed the language on the line before that F. Remove the language that says the chamber booth and simply said a booth and display tent. We tightened up some of the language about street closures under section 4 of attachment A, basically to make it safer actually for everyone that's working. So want to just tighten it up, extend a little bit of hours, but we'll still allow the businesses to be able to come in and do the things that they need to do, but the regular citizen traffic, if you will, won't be allowed to come into those areas because it gets a little dangerous.
Right.
And including the alley, which actually runs between the fuel lot and the sausage company, there's an alley there that we need to close in the agreement. And then we nailed down in the agreement the practice for the kids dance teams, you know, to be able to close Charles Street between Garfield and Cleveland on the Saturday before the festival from noon to 4, and then again on Saturday at the specific times that they need it. And then once again, we talked about in water hookups on this attachment, 12 locations as opposed to 18. And then I just want to bounce back to one of the things that I changed. And that had to do with the sound amplification, and basically in this agreement, holding Oktoberfest basically exempt from our ordinances as it related to the specific ordinances regarding sound and noise disturbances. I thought it was better to exempt them from those as opposed to give them a carte blanche, you know, agreement for unlimited access to amplified sound. That way, we can still hold people accountable who come to the city of Mount Angel during that time. We can still hold them accountable for using amplified sound and those types of things when they disturb other people, which would meet the requirements under our ordinance. It would not require any specific or special acknowledgement by council prior to Oktoberfest happening. The only question that I have for council has to do with section 4, letter B, and that's on packet page 93. Under B, and I've highlighted it for you, and this comes down to wastewater and water disposal. And the current contract shows that in addition, wastewater and water disposal services, so water services, fresh water to the vendors and fresh water to the event, and wastewater disposal services provided to Oktoberfest or its service providers will be at no charge. There was a recommendation that came forward that suggested under special event services and costs highlighted under section A there, that approved city fees for the dumping and processing of sewage and metered water connections would be a part of the cost. Currently, we don't have fees and costs set for sewer disposal, sewage. But of course, we can and do charge companies for metered water. So we have the ability to do that. We would have to come up with a specified fee if council wanted to attempt to recover the cost for dumping of sewage and wastewater out at our wastewater treatment plant. But I don't have an idea of what that fee would be. We'd have to talk about that likely in our budget committee meetings and when the city fees come up. So my question to council is, would council like to continue to operate as it is by giving Oktoberfest their fresh water and then allowing them to dump wastewater and sewage at the wastewater treatment plant? Or would you like to move into a model where we did charge them for fresh water and then for the fees to dispose of the wastewater and sewage?
I got a question for Ellen.
Sure.
Ellen, has that ever been a hassle for you guys as far as the wastewater dumping?
No,
They just take it out and put it in number one?
well, what they do is there's a manhole right before the headworks, and whoever collects the waste from the bathrooms, I don't know which company it is, but they'll go to that manhole and just dump it in there.
Okay,
So it's never been an issue.
okay, thank you.
So I'm a little confused. This porta pot material
Porta potty material, yes,
during the 4 days of October.
yes.
Alan, approximately how many gallons are we talking?
You're still muted.
You're muted, my friend.
Oh,
Still muted.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know how many gallons.
Safe to say a lot.
Yeah. I might be able to find out through records if I can pull up some records, but I don't know right offhand.
So what is the actual question being asked?
Which would you like to do? Would you like to keep it as it is? Or move ahead in the contract with the line that approved city fees for the dumping and processing of sewage and metered water connections would be included?
You did say remove.
So we can add that section, which is highlighted in A,
Yeah,
in 5A. So I wrote it out here so that you can see how it would look. So we can either add that and delete but the above section highlighted that says in addition, water and wastewater disposal services will be at no charge. So we can decide tonight that we wish to start charging them for that, or we can continue as is and not charge them.
because these were not in the old agreement, or
In the old,
B was,
B is in the old agreement,
but not A. I didn't.
but not 5A in the parenthetic that I have there. Because as you're aware, we continue to recover costs for public safety, police, public works and maintenance, as well as time that our, finance department puts in to put everything together.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'd rather just keep this language myself, but other folks probably have other ideas.
I would love to know if it is costing the city a lot. I mean, if it's not really, and it's not adding any extra work to Public Works, then it's probably fine to leave it. But I would be curious to know how much it costs to process and how much water they use, because some years we have a lot of people in town. But I wouldn't have any idea of what I don't know if it changes year to year. And Oktoberfest has been around for what, 50 plus years now? Not paying the city anything?
Not paying them
Wait
for
to
this.
find out how much it costs before we make that decision?
Is it even possible to find that out?
I'm not even sure. Alan, do you think that there's any way to guess how much water is being used?
It's not metered, so I don't know.
You have the booths have the gray water tanks. You'd have to see if they keep record of, how many times. And see if Honey Bucket keeps a record of how many trucks dump out there.
Right.
Well, again, I say keep it the way it is, but let's start tracking it and answer Shelley's questions as we track this. How much, what's going on, what would it take to put, because those vaults, if I remember right, there's gonna have to be some digging done in order to put a meter in there, unless they make a meter that big, there's gonna be some cost to do that, but
I like that approach. Because, if we continue as is, over the course of the next 3 years, we can attempt to track that and to see, how much effort Public Works has, how much, maybe we can try and figure out a way to figure out how much water is actually being used if we can. If nothing else, we can take, some polls, we can go around and talk to folks about how much water they think that their booth is using. And then just tracking the gray water too, I think is a good way to do it. So we at least track it and then see when we renew next, after 3 years, I think we would be in a good spot to make some intelligent decisions at that point.
And I think just let them know, we're gonna be gathering this information and looking at it, so.
Okay, so if council's okay with that, I'm going to delete the approved city fees section, dumping and processing of sewage and metered water connections. And if council is okay with the other changes, I would like to sign this agreement and get this done with Oktoberfest. Because this agreement, as you see it here, has been discussed with Oktoberfest, has been discussed with Bill Bischoff, and he understands where we're at tonight. And I believe that we're in a position where we can sign.
Chief, it looks like Tara raised your hand virtually.
Okay, Sarah?
I was just gonna ask Alan, we can meter their water use, right? We don't have to guess and take polls, do we?
We could meter them, but the way it's set up now, we remove the meters and just put up a hose bib in there for them to connect to. It's going to take some plumbing to meter those.
Okay.
Another way you can find out is water in versus water out. You find out how much your meter usage is on your city water meter side, and then you subtract that from your total overall usage, and that'll give you what they're using. So it's the in and out equation. That's all you have to do. And my other 2 cents is Oktoberfest is a nonprofit. I mean, they're not in the business to make money just to make a profit. They're there to support the community. And I think as a good gesture and as a taxpaying citizen, I do not mind my money going to support a good cause like Oktoberfest. support such good causes around basically all of the Willamette Valley. So as Mayor Flex says, I'm fine with leaving the verbiage as is, because we're supporting a worthy cause, and I feel like milking them for every penny that they have is not very conducive or a very good look for our city. So again, if take it for what you will, but I think helping to, you know, build up the community with whatever little funds that we have to give to help and support Oktoberfest is a good thing, because they do such good and wonderful things for our community.
Thank you, Tony. Shelley, thank you. You know, one of the things that we can do when we submit our grant is just let them know we're submitting a grant, and we didn't charge you for that. I did get one complaint, and that was, and I look at the map on page 101, and it's the honey store, but they moved the booths so that it's open. And I don't know if that was something that you guys talked about already, but that was the issue that came up to me. And
Yeah, so last year during Oktoberfest, you know, they got into a kind of a heated discussion about booth placement and that type of thing, so they decided to move the booth, and at that point, then my understanding is that the owner of the business decided he was just gonna close, so I think Oktoberfest has got that figured out, at least, I hope so. So I hope that moving forward to the next Oktoberfest, that, you know, the folks who are doing the oversight of the downtown area will probably reach out and communicate just a little bit more, a little bit better.
okay. But like I said, it looks like you've already handled that also.
So council is in support, and I will sign this and get it in front of Bill, and we'll make it happen.
Is this something we need to vote on, or is just a consensus?
I think with the contract and this, as long as I have permission from council, I don't think you necessarily need to vote on it, as long as you're in approval.
Shake hands.
Yeah, as long as I have consensus,
Guys,
so I feel good with that.
Shelley, Tony, you guys okay with the chief getting this Oktoberfest thing signed?
Yes, I think that's fine.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, council.
Okay, I'm gonna get you on the hot seat again. City manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'd like to tell you that on or about December 15th, we opened an internal recruitment for the position of Public Works Director. One applicant applied. And on December 30th of this past year, we conducted an oral interview with the candidate. Folks sitting on the panel were the Public Works Director from the city of Silverton, Operations Director up at the Abbey, Colby Kemp, and Dan Burke, our previous Public Works Superintendent. And I sat in on them as well, just to kind of watch and listen. They interviewed our candidate, who was Alan Dahlberg, and it was the unanimous recommendation of the panel. And I am asking for permission, since I must do that, to hire Alan Dahlberg as our Public Works Director to be effective tomorrow morning as soon as we start business. So I'm requesting that permission to hire Mr. Dahlberg, and then also for permission to hire the subsequent vacancy that I anticipate is going to happen as we look at promoting one of the maintenance workers into the lead position. And so we will need to hire an additional member of Public Works So I'm asking for your permission to hire Mr. Dahlberg as our Public Works Director, and then to hire a replacement Public Works employee as needed.
Yep. Absolutely. Did we vote on it last month?
Yeah, I
We
got
should
a
vote
vote.
on
I
it.
got a vote.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that'll just make it more official. And so we're gonna need a motion. What he said, is that?
I move to approve Alan Dahlberg as the new Public Works Superintendent,
Public Works Director,
Director,
yes. And to hire an additional,
and to hire an additional person to replace the person that's gonna move up to the next spot.
to back it up. Thank you.
Something like that.
I'll make it sound good.
That's-
There you go.
that's- I'll second. Okay. So we have a motion, and I'm not gonna repeat it, by Counselor Donahue, and a second by Counselor Hooper. Alan Dahlberg to be moved to Director and hire the needed replacement.
That sounds much better. All right. Counselor Ott,
Hi.
Counselor Vasquez,
Aye.
Counselor Hofer,
Aye.
Counselor Eager,
Aye.
Counselor Wall is absent. Counselor Astorga,
Aye.
Counselor Donahue,
Aye.
Mayor Platt.
Aye. See, Alan, you didn't have anything to worry about. Congratulations.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Council. Couple of the things coming up. So one of the things that I do kind of on the side is I have been on the response team for the Oregon Solid Badge Foundation. This is a group of law enforcement officials from all over the state that have a foundation and is supported by both private and public entities, but we are a group of people kind of out of honor guard, and I'm one of the few that didn't come from an honor guard group, but that we put on the law enforcement funerals and services around the state. We actually are having a law enforcement service here at the Fest Hall this coming Saturday. It's a private service for Marion County Sheriff's Department in honor of Sergeant Jared Miller, who succumbed to COVID just a couple weeks ago. The service will be at the Fest Hall and his family will be there having the service, and then they're going to have some family time afterwards. And I happen to be the logistics chief for this operation, so I'm gonna be very busy acquiring things for the service this week. And we'll be working a lot of extra hours. So if you see me coming and going from the city very early in the morning, very late at night, that's because I'll be putting in some extra time this week. I'll be attending the Chamber of Commerce meeting Wednesday night, giving them an update on council, but also things that are going on in the city. I fully well intend to pitch to the council or to the chamber, excuse me, an idea regarding some funds that we received from Marion County. You might recall that we received, I believe, $45,000 in funds to be used, by the businesses, for the businesses, to kind of get things going for them to a certain degree. We actually anticipate another $30,000 coming to the city over the next couple of years. So the project that previous city manager had in place did not go very far, didn't go very well. So I'm going to be talking to the chamber, got some ideas for them. I know that they've been working on a map of the city and the businesses, and I think that we would be able to pay for that map out of those funds for the businesses of the community. I would like to reach out to the Oregon Department of Transportation. As we all know, you travel up and down the freeway, you see signs before the exit saying food next right. Well, I'm thinking that maybe it would be nice if we had some attention grabbing signs, if you will. They don't have to be ginormous, but signs that say, turn right here for this restaurant, that restaurant, another restaurant. To kind of get people to come off of Main Street and come into the businesses and park and to use some of our restaurants and see some of the businesses. So we might be able to use some of those funds to work with ODOT to be able to manufacture those signs and get them out. It also allows for us to do some traffic calming and that type of thing. So we actually have the opportunity perhaps to buy another radar reader board, which we can use on Main Street to advertise our businesses and to get people to slow down and pay attention to what's going on around them. So anyway, I intend on pitching that to the chamber and getting some ideas from that. The next thing is we are moving ahead with the roof cleaning and repairs at the Sawfeld House and their garage. Bill Predick and I have talked about that. We'll be moving ahead with that very soon. And then the last thing that I have, barring any questions from you, is that our radar reader trailer is finally here. It got delivered last week. It's got some pretty fancy stuff on it, so we do need to go through a little bit of a training program before we flip the switch and throw it out there. But it is here. It's over at Public Works. So if you happen to be around and want to go take a look at it, it's pretty cool. And I'm really looking forward to getting it out there in the community. That's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay. Councilors, anyone have any additional items? Let's start up on Zoom there. Shelley, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Nope, not this month.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Astorga?
Nope, not this month.
Councilor Vasquez, anything?
No.
I just want to say thanks to staff and what they've done this past year, the chief, their article was real good in the Hour Town. Thank you for all you do for us.
You're welcome. I forgot, I probably should mention that. I think I hit you guys all with the text with the link to that story. And I will tell you, after the number of years that I've been a PIO and looking at stories that reporters have done after the information that I gave them, this is probably one of the most accurate that I have ever come across. So Mr. Floyd was, and I'll quote Sergeant Hall, he was truly paying attention. So I'm very thankful for the article, and it was very nice.
I've been on a lot of calls that you read the paper and you didn't know you were there. So different. Any other?
I do not have anything.
Okay. Under my report, gonna be pretty short here. One thing that we're gonna be doing here soon is finishing the negotiations with landowners for the sewer project. Unfortunately, it's got to get done. But we will be scheduling that. Pete's not feeling well, but he's going to let us know when he's okay again and can head out and start making, trying to get this taken care of. Obviously, we're going to check on the development out here, try to get a time frame that was asked, and then work on getting the meeting scheduled that we talked about. It sounds like we've already got that handled. And last thing, I've got a question, and I already kind of threw it at Chief. When people leave the services of the city, they have an option to fill out an exit interview. And I've never seen one. I don't know if we can see it. I'm assuming we can. If it's legal, I'd like to see them. So that's my pitch. And again, we got experts, both on staff and, a lawyer that we can talk to. But number one priority has been recruit
and retain our employees. And if we don't know what the issues are, then we may not do as good a job.
Fair enough.
So I guess I'm gonna just throw it in your lap again. I apologize for that.
Okay. We'll figure that out, Mr. Mayor, and I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Anything else? Meeting adjourned.